All right. Thursday, Trump's personal doctor just got destroyed in federal court. $1.7 million, fraud charges, documents that just dropped. I've been through the entire filing. Here's what they're not telling you. This isn't some background story. The judge called his testimony flagrant deception on the record. Those are her exact words. The filing's 47 pages. I read every one. According to court documents filed this morning, Trump's physician submitted false medical certifications to a federal court, not once, multiple times. Let me show you what happened. Quick context first. Dr. Jackson Emerson served as Trump's personal physician from 2021 through early 2026. Before that, 15 years in private practice, board certified, good reputation. Until this week, the core issue, he signed off on medical records that directly contradicted clinical test results. The same test results he himself ordered. Timeline fast version. Early 2024, first inconsistencies flagged by internal compliance team. September 2025, federal investigators request medical documentation as part of broader inquiry. March 2026, Emerson submits certified statements contradicting his own lab findings. July 22nd, Judge Elizabeth Martinez issues initial ruling. It's brutal. Thursday morning today, full filing becomes public. That's the setup. The evidence shows why this happened, okay? The evidence. First document, filed Tuesday, July 21st, page 12, lines 8 through 14. The statement reads, quoting directly, "Patient demonstrates cardiovascular health consistent with individual in excellent physical condition. No cardiac irregularities detected." That's not my take. That's Emerson's certified statement to the court. What it means, he's telling a federal court Trump has perfect heart health. Here's what caught me. Page 31, different section entirely, lab report from the same month, his own EKG readings, his own stress test data. Both show irregular rhythms, documented, dated, signed by him, put those together. Yeah, he certified the opposite of what his own test showed. I went through this 5 times. Patterns unmistakable. March 2nd lab shows atrial flutter noted in second cycle. March 4th certified statement says cardiac function normal. Same patient, same doctor, same month, opposite conclusions within 48 hours now, what nobody's covering. While media focused on the fraud allegation, something else happened buried in page 44. Emerson's notes reveal he knew the results before writing his certification. Direct quote from his handwritten notes, "Results concerning, will need to discuss approach with legal team." Then 3 days later, the certification goes in. Different story entirely. His legal team, meaning Trump's legal team. Why this matters. That suggests coordination, not error, coordination. Fallout started immediately. Trump's entire medical clearance now questioned. Other certifications Emerson signed are under review. Federal investigators expanding scope to examine whether this was isolated within 48 hours of the ruling. That's just the filing summary. Subscribe. This story's developing fast, and I'm breaking down what happens next. Okay, but look, gotta be fair here. The other side has a point. Actually, multiple points. Trump's legal defense team says this is prosecutorial overreach, and honestly, some of it holds weight. Their argument, first medical interpretation is subjective. 2 physicians can look at the same EKG and reach different conclusions based on clinical judgment. That's not fraud, that's medicine. Second, Emerson's notes don't prove coordination with legal team. They prove he was consulting with legal team about how to present findings responsibly. That's normal procedure. Defense counsel Patricia Vasquez, former federal prosecutor, now private practice, has stated it directly. Dr. Emerson faced conflicting clinical observations. Consulting legal counsel doesn't constitute fraud. Don't agree with all of it, but that argument isn't empty. What they've got. Medical literature supporting EKG interpretation variability. Precedent from 3 prior cases where doctors adjusted certifications based on new clinical review. Testimony from independent cardiologists saying the results could be read either way. Even Judge Martinez acknowledged in her ruling. Medical science includes areas of reasonable disagreement. Look, I'm not here to tell you who's right. Federal prosecutor's interpretation, evidence supports it. Multiple inconsistencies, suspicious timing, evidence of legal team coordination. That's a pattern. Defense interpretation, evidence there too. Medicine is subjective. Consultation with counsel is normal. Cardiologists disagree on readings. Both can be true. That's what makes this complicated. What I can tell you, what the documents objectively show. And they show a physician signing certifications that contradict his own test results, doing so after consulting with the defendant's legal team, and doing it within a narrow time frame connected to a federal inquiry. Make of that what you will. This didn't come out of nowhere. Backstory quick. 2 years ago, Emerson's medical practice flagged minor billing irregularities. Nothing major, resolved quietly. 6 months ago, internal compliance officer raised questions about documentation consistency. Memo filed, not escalated. 3 months ago. First federal investigator contact regarding Trump's health certifications. Routine check. Someone even said on record. When you're the president's physician, everything you sign gets scrutiny. Everything. That's from a former White House physician in a deposition. What happened? Pattern of escalating pressure. Compliance concerns ignored. Federal inquiry made standard practice scrutinized. Emerson faced choosing between truthful reporting and protecting a client he'd served for 5 years. Every time before, these tensions resolved quietly, documents stayed sealed, careers continued until Tuesday, following the evidence trail, like this, help signal which stories matter. Tuesday, 2:47 p.m. Here's what happened. Judge Martinez issued her preliminary ruling from the bench. Emerson was present. His attorney sat beside him. The certifications submitted to this court contain material misrepresentations, Martinez stated. Her words, direct from transcript. Room went silent. What followed? Defense requested continuance to gather additional evidence. Prosecution objected, citing pattern of delays. Judge denied the request in 90 seconds flat. That fast. Now, what everyone missed. While media focused on the fraud charges, something else happened simultaneously. Federal prosecutors filed a separate motion requesting examination of 7 other medical certifications Emerson signed for different individuals over a 3-year period. Not Trump, other clients, different cases. This isn't isolated anymore. This is a pattern they're building. Then within hours, Emerson's medical license came under emergency review by the state licensing board. His response, calculated, released a statement Wednesday morning denying all charges, cited conflicting medical opinions and prosecutorial overreach. You can see it in the filing. He knew the defense strategy before it was announced publicly. His statement matched their talking points word for word. This is where it gets interesting. Stay with me. The part coming next changes how this whole thing looks. It's not what you'd expect. What are experts saying? Former assistant U.S. attorney, 22 years federal prosecution experience. The coordination between legal team and physician is the actual crime here, not the medical disagreement. Plain English. If they can prove he deliberately falsified records on legal team instructions, that's conspiracy. That's worse than simple fraud. Another angle. Cardiology professor from Johns Hopkins, published expert on cardiac certification standards. 2 readings of the same EKG don't contradict each other this sharply unless someone changed the interpretation intentionally. Key there. That's an expert saying honest disagreement doesn't fit this data. Here's what's interesting. Even defense-friendly medical consultant admitted in preliminary deposition. The timeline raises questions about independence of judgment. When both sides agree timing is suspicious, pay attention. Consensus from legal and medical experts. Whether he acted alone or under instruction remains unclear. The certifications themselves are indefensible medically. Pattern matters more than any single case. That's where professionals land. The defense isn't he was right medically. It's he was following legal advice to present findings conservatively. That's actually a worse defense because it suggests someone was directing him. If this breakdown's useful, like it, matters more than you'd think for signal tracking, why should you care? Real talk, how this affects actual people. If you've ever relied on a physician's certification for employment, insurance, court matters, pay attention. This establishes that certifications can be falsified and possibly undetected for months. Your doctor's word, the thing we trust most. It's legally vulnerable now. What some people doing? Requesting independent second opinions before accepting certifications. Smart move, not advice, just what informed people are doing. This case sets standard for physician-attorney coordination in sensitive matters. Next time you're in a situation where your health status matters legally, rules changed. Quick example, If you're involved in any lawsuit and your doctor signs off on your health condition, that certification can now be challenged on coordination with legal team grounds. Before this ruling, harder to challenge after. Prosecutor has roadmap. Right now, anyone with medical certifications tied to federal cases is watching. Physicians nationwide are issuing internal memos about documentation protocols. Defense attorneys are already preparing for increased scrutiny of any medical testimony. What informed people asking professionals? Can my medical certifications be reviewed retroactively? How much communication with my legal team gets documented? Question for your own physician. How do you handle situations where findings conflict? Knowledge helps protect yourself. How'd Emerson respond? Made it worse. Honestly, within hours of the ruling, his team issued a statement denying charges and blaming political persecution. Quote, "This is harassment disguised as justice. Reaction immediate. Social media split hard supporters versus critics in roughly 60-40 split. Medical community distanced itself quickly. Hospital where he had privileges issued statements suspending his status pending review. Then prosecutors came back. The defendant's statement contains multiple factual inaccuracies. We'll address them at trial. Not backing down. Heat's increasing. What's still unclear. 1. Whether legal team instructed Emerson to falsify records or merely created an environment where he made bad judgment calls. 2. Whether other physicians are involved in similar situations. Coming. Judge Martinez has discovery deadline set for August 19th. Emerson reportedly preparing defense witness list includes 3 prominent cardiologists. Prosecution preparing to challenge his medical license at state board hearing August 26th. Dates to watch, August 6th, pre-trial motion hearing, August 19th, evidence discovery deadline, August 26th, medical license hearing. Should know more by mid-August, subscribe. I'll cover these hearings as they happen. August going to be critical for this case, where we are right now. Emerson suspended from hospital privileges, federal charges filed officially, state medical board investigating independently, defense preparing for trial, scheduled August 6th, pre-trial motions, August 19th, discovery deadline, August 26th, medical license hearing, September 2026, trial date preliminary. Not public yet, whether other physicians are being investigated or if this is contained to Emerson. Clocks running on the discovery phase. That's where real evidence surfaces. That's where we are. Dr. Jackson Emerson facing federal fraud charges, suspended medical privileges, state investigation underway. Surface read, Trump's doctor falsified medical records, career over. But the coordination question matters more than the fraud itself. If prosecutors prove he was directed to falsify records, that's conspiracy. That's conspiracy to commit fraud against a federal court. That implicates other people. Legal team coordination that appears in the documents, that's going to get serious scrutiny. I'll be watching what surfaces in discovery phase come August 19th. That's when we see why he did this. Not just that he did it. Story's not over. Still developing. Subscribe for updates when these deadlines hit. The real story breaks in the motions, not the headlines. Talk soon.